No, this is just
Amazing fish.
Get some show.
That's not show.
Here.
It's not gonna work. I'm gonna.
If you find a way to sit next to you, Eric, once you get your ass down this way, so sit next to the boy. Let's go for his all around here. No big deal, Mitch. So that one's still Kenya, I don't know. And if the bar is ever stacked, we'll get the jukebox shut off.
Get that closer. There we go. Yeah. Get it right in there. Like as if he's one of you guys sitting there, right? Perfect.
Alright guys, we're all set. When 18 Davis, I come over for a meeting in New York. What I brought for you guys tonight is a program on reptiles. It's been a funny summer. Some people can't take it to eat, they couldn't come. You know, we had a couple of weeks to eat and just have a little bit of a break. Some animals aren't really into advances. Okay, and just transport them, you know, during game times like this. Can stress them out and cause a problem. But the ones I can always rely on are the reptiles. And reptiles are golden for anyone. Whenever I talk about one group of animals, I like to let people know where they come from. And this is according to scientists, because, you know, I do science shows, I do the science for you. A lot of people have different beliefs, that's fine too. But according to scientists from studying fossils, things that were here a long time ago, nature was trying to get life up on land a long time ago. Oceans full of life, nothing up on land, so what nature did was change stuff you already had. Little changes you hardly notice, but eventually they filled up. And little things like worms started living close to shore. Some of them moved on, you know, on the land, you know, in drier places. They got used to drier conditions. Next thing you know, because, you know, worms dry out, they die. Nature gave them some of this stuff in their skin. Same material your fingernails are made of. That's waterproof. So that way these animals didn't have to worry about drying out. And we call that stuff on animals without bones, we call it an exoskeleton. I'm sure you've heard that word in school. Some of the worm-like creatures that nature changed, yeah, no worms are in the dirt. They got little hairs that stick out of the rings of skin like this. You ever seen the movie Tremors with the giant worm things with big spikes sticking out their sides? Well, it's kind of like the worms in Tremors. They got these little spikes for digging through the swamp. And nature kind of bunks these together. They became legs. And we had the first animals with legs that walked on land. You know what they were? Millipedes. There were giant millipedes, 3 feet long, as big around your mind, like that cruised the ocean shores, eating dead stuff that washed up on shore, just like dead stuff washed up on the beach today. But back in the ocean, nature made something brand new. She had animals with bones. You know what the first bony creatures were? Fish. Boy, did nature have fun playing with fish. She put them in hot water, cold water, salt, pressure, brackish water, the highest mountain stream, and they freeze solid for like 10 months out of the year. She even put fish on land. Some funny looking fish with flat fins came walking up on shore. And some of them are still around today. You guys might have heard of mud skippers. Mud skippers, a little fish about that long. It's got a head like a frog. These funny looking flat fins. This is a fish that not only walks on land, it can hop like a frog. It not only hops like a frog, it can climb trees. If you hold a mud skipper in your hand and hold him underwater for about 5 minutes, he drowns. That's a land fish. And from some of these fish, the funny looking fins became arms and legs with fingers and toes. We had the first amphibians. Giant salamanders, 3 to 15 feet long, some of them as big as crocodiles. Now the salamanders were great, and they could live on the land part of the time. The problem was if their skin dried out, they died. Also, they have to lay their eggs in the water because their babies go through stages. Frogs are amphibians, what we call baby frogs. Tadpole. Okay, yep, somebody said tadpole. Tadpole doesn't look like a frog. It has grown legs. Its insides change because it changes its diet. Before you know it, it looks like it absorbs the tail. And salamanders go through changes too. So what nature did was she took some of these salamander guys, gave a lot of this stuff in their skin. built it up as big, thick layers overlap like shingles on a roof, and she gave them a waterproof egg. Up until now, all the animals had jelly-like eggs. They laid them in the water. But these eggs should be laid on land because of that shell. And these eggs had a big yolk in them. You know what yolk is in an egg? It's food for the baby animal. And that big yolk made it possible for these animals to go through all the changes they had to go through right inside the egg. And when they hatch, they look just like the grown-ups. You would recognize the first reptiles, some of the first reptiles nature ever made. They're still here today, pretty much unchanged. They were the crocodiles. There we go. This is a baby American alligator, and he's a rescue animal. Okay, he was being kept, rather
its
poorly.
eyes? It's so cute.
Huh? Okay, anyway. He's being kept in a bathtub and all day with bad nutrition and everything. He was very, very thin when we got him. But with some force feeding, some shots, he's pretty much recovered. He's gained weight. He's doing pretty good. And now that I've rescued him, guess what? He wants to kill me. I know on TV when you rescue animals, they're your friends forever. And you can walk through the woods singing and dancing like Dora and Diego and all their little animal buddies. In real life, when you rescue animals, they hate your guts for the rest of your life. Animals are not grateful. They don't want to be your friends. All they remember is you were poking them with needles and ramming food down their throat that they didn't feel good enough to eat. And they hate you for the rest of their lives. A lot of times kids ask me if any of my animals get released into the wild. I wouldn't be the person that decides that. That's a government decision. But if they ever let this alligator loose, everything with a ponytail and a mustache for about 100 miles inside. Maybe hunting me down everywhere I can. Now, crocodiles. Good water animal. Have a shake tail for swimming, nice and slow, where he wiggles as he goes. A quick in his tail, he can swim as fast as a fish in a quick spurt. On land, he can outrun me. I've said, hey, look at me. They go back high, almost 60. Of course, he can outrun me. Anybody can. He has webbed hind feet like a newt, just like his ancestors. And like a newt, he doesn't kick with his feet like a frog or a duck. He steers with his feet like a rudder on a ship with a steer. In the water, he's the best hunter ever, because he only moves about an hour a day. He can lay close to shore. Animals pay no attention to him because animals don't see like you and I do. You and I see colors, most animals see in black and white. You and I see shapes, most animals can't tell a tree from a rock by looking at it. You and I have eyes that focus all the time. Most animals only focus if they hear a noise, smell something, or see some movement. Okay, so if he lays still, he's invisible to most animals. For animals with slightly better vision, he's covered in texture to resemble floating along. And he can lay there. You go down south and look at alligators. You see turtles climb on their back, sit in the sun. Little birds be walking around on them. They have no clue it's a living thing. And if he lays there long enough, some animal finally walks up to the edge of the water for a drink. He'll snap sideways, grab the water down. When he gets bigger, he eats things that live in groups and birds. When animals live in groups, they focus their eyes more. You know why? Sign language. You ever see people talk with their hands? Animals talk with their whole body. A little twitch of the ear, a flick of the tail, those are signals. So they're constantly focusing on each other all the time. He might make some tiny movement that most animals wouldn't notice, but a herd animal would see that movement and focus on it, realize it's a crocodile, and scare away all the food. So to make crocodiles extra sneaky, nature puts their eyeballs way up on top of their head. Their ear is that long diagonal line in the back of their eye. That's where he's up on the bump too. And you know why he's got a long hole for an ear instead of a round hole like human beings? Did you ever go swimming and water in your ear? You gotta hop around and walk your head with you get headache sick. That doesn't work anyway. He can actually close his ears just like a ziploc bag. He's got a little flap of skin on each side of his ear with ridges that fit together just like this. And it walks going around and seals fresh loose in. He can stick a cookie in his ear, take a swim, pull it out bone dry an hour later. And his nostrils are a little bump on the tip of his nose when they point up. They close like a Ziploc baggie too. So he can just lay there with a little bit of the top of his head up the water, and he can see and hear, breathe, and smell all at the same time. Makes him a very sneaky predator. Today, crocodiles cruise around the shores of big rivers, lakes, and swamps, and they eat animals that kill the plants that grow along the shore. Plants that grow along the edge of water are very special. They have special roots that go deep underground and corkscrew and twist around, get all tangled up together, and they make a net that holds the soil together so the soil doesn't wash away. Otherwise, every river in the world would be 20 miles wide and 2 inches deep, and it just wash away all the dirt. So crocodiles are topsoil preservers. Yes, sir. Yeah, they have to stick the tail up, swishing the tail, the little ear twitches. They do that shoulder thing. Horses do that too. You see this little shoulder thing. Looks like they got the creeps or something. Those are all little signals, and they're talking to each other when they're doing this stuff. Now, great water animal, right? You think he's a good land animal? Problem with crocodiles is they have soft ribs in their sides. His ribs down. And that's not a problem for a male when he's little. He can walk over land for 2 weeks. He can go miles a day looking for a new place to live if there's a drought or a shortage of food or overpopulation. Here's the problem. When he gets big, 10, 12 feet long, he's going to weigh 600 to 800 pounds. And at that size, when he lays down on land, his ribs slowly bend and sag, and he spreads out like pancake batter poured in a pan. After a few minutes, the whole weight of his body is on his lungs, and he can't breathe. So young crocodiles were used by nature to move light to new places over land. Older crocodiles, if there's a drought, in a day or two, they die. Okay, but that's the way nature works. Little steps, little stages. And crocodiles were so perfect for the job they were doing, nature hasn't changed them since millions of years before the dinosaurs were here. Okay, a lot of the crocodiles that are around today were around long before the dinosaurs. Yes, sir? He's an alligator. And I've said both alligator and crocodile while talking about it. And there's a point to that. Who cares? If you're near water and you see something that looks like this, get out. It doesn't matter if it's an alligator or a crocodile. You know, the only reason you're obsessed by this alligator-crocodile difference? TV. On TV, they waste 7 minutes of your life on every show teaching you the difference between an alligator and a crocodile. I've been watching TV almost since it was invented. My entire life. I hear this all the time. And you know, in my whole life, there's only been one guy who actually told the true difference between the American alligator and the American crocodile. Every single other person that you watch on TV gets it wrong. Nobody on TV knows anything. They just babble, go to commercial, and they repeat the same mistakes over and over again year after year. By the way, the only person who knew the true difference was a man named Mr. Green Jeans on a show called Captain Kangaroo. I doubt very many people have ever even heard of him. But when I was watching, he was in black and white. I was 8 years old, and I was impressed because I said, wow, somebody actually knows. Steve Irwin didn't know as much about crocodiles as Mr. Green Jeans on Captain Kangaroo. So, you know what we can do?
Yeah.
We can take these crocodile jobbers and we'll change them. We'll give them better ribs. Big, broad, flat ribs. And we'll have big bony squares to their ribs to support them. And maybe that'll make them better than an animal. Now, some of you have questions that you. Are they cousins? Yeah. An alligator is actually just a type of crocodile. They're all the same. They're all crocodilians. They're all the same family. So it really doesn't matter much. You know, nature doesn't care. Nobody out there cares. It's only TV and TV viewers that care. You know, it's just an animal. Okay? All in the same family. Now, so nature did it. They came up with a brand new group of reptiles for the purpose. This is an empty turtle show from a box turtle. I rescued from a dog and sat down in the swamp. And you see he's got a backbone down the middle. You see the ribs coming out beside you and me. But his ribs disappear very quickly in the big squares of bone. And they hook together like jigsaw puzzle pieces and make that upper shell. The bottom shell on a turtle is this bone in the middle of your chest, your sternum or breastbone. Covers your heart, holds your ribs together. That's a turtle's bottom shell. Okay, so very often kids find an empty turtle shell during the summer when they're fishing or hiking. They want to bring it home. But somebody say, oh, you can't bring it home. The turtle might come back for it. Is the turtle coming back for this? No, it's dead now. Okay. Turtles are not hermit crabs. And turtles are not lizards with house trailers. This is not the turtle's home. We learned that in school, you know, kindergarten, first grade. That's from cartoons, and it's their home. This ain't his home, it's his ribcage. Can you take your ribcage off? No. Okay, you would be alive. Neither can a turtle. Okay, you had a question, sweetie? Nice and loud. It's getting loud in here. How can a crocodile die? An animal can kill him and eat him. You know, that's about the about it. When they're little, most baby crocodiles never get to grow up. Something goes beneath them. Once they get bigger, they're able to protect themselves better. Now, Nate, you would recognize the first turtles nature ever made. They also are still here today. During the dinosaur age, they got way bigger, but it's still the same turtles. Snapping turtles. There we go. This is a 21-year-old
Those things are vicious.
baby alligator snapping turtles in the Mississippi River. And today it's the largest freshwater turtle in the world. When he grows up, his top shell will be as big as me, my head and my hips, 20 inches wide, but he'll weigh 100 pounds more than I do now.
Yo, that thing
We
is
have snapping
vicious.
turtles around here that get about 18 inches long. Our snapping turtles weigh about 55 pounds, and our snappers live about 125 years. Okay. Now, the reason I mentioned age, one of the ways we can tell whether animals do good stuff for nature or bad stuff is just to find out how long they live. Animals live a long time do good stuff. Animals live a short time. Usually animals that hurt nature. Their numbers get too big too quickly. You know what nature really is? Plant eaters. Nature hates animals and eats plants. Plants make the atmosphere that we breathe. Anything that eats plants could be a danger to all life on the planet. So things like insects, they eat a lot of plants. You know, a grasshopper eats 16 times its weight in plants a day. A caterpillar can eat its weight in food every hour, 24 hours a day. Since bugs are destructive, they have lots of babies. Most bugs only live 7 to 100 days, 1 week to 1 summer long. Things like rodents, they're another damaging creature. And they reproduce even more quickly than insects do. Rodents only live about 1.5 years to 2 years. But this guy here lives over 300 years. The alligator I showed you lives 8 years. Now, the cool thing is, everybody thinks snapping turtles are mean turtles. But he's not a mean turtle, he's a scared turtle. The reason he's scared, he's got a small bottom shell. Just a little strip right down the middle, looks like a cross. He can't pull into his shell the way other turtles do. So nature gave the snapping turtles a hard neck, strong, sharp jaws, a long neck. He can bite my finger all the way out here if he wants to. And no sense of humor. He's not trying to bite me today. What's going on, buddy? No sense of humor. So if an animal bothers him, he bites him, they learn a lesson, go away. Now here's the cool thing about snapping turtles. You can guess why he lived so long just by looking at him, even if you know nothing about animals. So he looked like a very fast animal. He's slower than a peanut disaster relief check. So he looked like a very smart animal. He could find the ground if you threw him out of a plane. And that's his secret. Nature says he's so slow, and since he's not very smart, if he can catch it, nature doesn't want it anyway. Anything he can catch has got to have something wrong with it. He eats a lot of fish, but he's never going to catch a strong, smart, healthy fish. So he eats dead fish, sick fish, weak fish, injured fish, and fish that aren't very smart. And by eating those fish, he improves the fish population. Now, good water animal, right? You think he's going to be a good land animal? Male snapping turtles only leave the water if it dries up around them. And even then, to have those guys just bury themselves in mud waiting for the pond to go up again next year. The females come out 2 or 3 times a year to go and lay eggs. They're clumsy on land. Their shell is very, very heavy. They're not the best laying animal going. But they do have a job in the water, and was a step. Nature gave them a better rib game, right? So nature moves on. Now, so nature kept playing with these turtles. Your parents are too young to remember. But when I was a kid, we could go to a place called Woolworths. Now, Woolworths was like a crummy, cheesy, smelly family dollar. It was a horrible, wretched place full of junkie. The metal shelving had sharp edges on it instead of plastic strips. So if you brushed up against the shelf while you were walking by, it would touch you right to the bone. The pegboard was like a trap for senior citizens and clumsy children. There'd be kids pinned up on the pegboard because there were no little round ends or plastic protectors on them. The corners back then were rounded. It was an amazing place. They called it a 5 and dime because everything in it was worth a nickel or 10 cents, and that was really special. In the back was a coffee shop. And off to the left of the coffee shop, they had a pet department. Now, if you couldn't find the pet department just by looking for it, all you had to do was use your nose to smell for death. There would be big tanks full of goldfish, 100 goldfish at the bottom of the tank in this murky water, with 3 live goldfish swimming around going, help, help. Oh, please get me out of here. Okay. There would be 100 parakeets or canaries in a cage. 40 or 50 of them dead in the bottom, squashed flat as a piece of cardboard. It was so overcrowded they were just rolling over each other like hamsters in a cage. Oh, hamsters. There'd be 100 hamsters who went up. They had diarrhea. And they'd all be dying and wasting away and eating each other. It was the most wretched place on earth. And in the back of the pet department was a tank with 2 inches of filthy water and a pet you could buy for a quarter. Our pets were baby turtles. This is a baby snapping turtle, a couple weeks old. The turtles we got, though, were called red-eared sliders. If you had $1.99, you could bring your little turtle home in a little plastic bowl with a little plastic island and a little plastic palm tree, 3 inches tall. And you would feed your little turtles dead-dried Mexican water bugs with no nutritional value whatsoever, and we would watch them slowly suffer to death in our homes. Usually it took 2 weeks to 2 months and they were dead. Okay, you know why our turtles died? We listen to people in pet stores. People in pet stores don't know much about animals. They might know about cats and dogs. Okay, but other than that, they don't know anything about the animals. So we did what they said, and because of that, our pets suffered and died. But at 6 years old, I got 6 of these turtles. I did an amazing thing. I stopped talking to pet shop people. I stopped looking at pet shop books because they're just there to sell you stuff you don't need. And I went to the library and read real books. And here's a turtle I've had since I was 6 years old. Now, I didn't know much about nutrition when I was a kid. Not that I'm nutrition's poster child now. I'm talking about animal nutrition. Okay? She should be about 2 inches longer than this. She was stunted when she was a baby, so I didn't give her the exact right diet. But she's lived 52 years. And she still may outlive me. She might get over 75 years old. Yes, sir. Your sister has a red-eared slider? Yep. Yep, turtles are cool. Now, this turtle has a big bottom shell. And that big bottom shell allows her, when she's scared, to pull inside, and she covers up her face with her wrist bones like that. Now, turtles that do that live in places where it gets cold, the temperate zones. It gets cold here in the spring and fall, it's cold in the winter. It can get cold during the summer, too. It's cold in the morning, it's cold in the evening. When turtles get cold, they get slow. Now, you know, if you find a slider or a painted turtle on a 95-degree summer day, they can run as quick as a mouse. You go walking through the woods to some pond where turtles aren't used to people, and before you're within 500 feet of the pond, they disappear. By the time you get there, you wouldn't know there's a turtle there. So go to that pond at 5 o'clock in the morning. 55 degrees, the sun's just coming up. The turtles are so cold they can hardly drag themselves out of the water. They might not even notice you until you're 20 feet, maybe 12 feet away. When they do notice you, guess what? When they're cold, their brain works slow too. So the turtle will be looking at you and go, okay. And he realizes he can't get away, so he pulls inside the shell and covers up. And he waits for danger to go away. Okay, we think turtles are slow because we see them when they're slow. But turtles can actually be quite quick. Now, you know a funny thing you might have noticed is she rides a Viking. And that fascinates people. They go, wow, you gave her 52 years, you feed her every day, you take her places. Why would she bite you? It's a turtle. This is not a friend, a pet, a relative. I've got relatives I don't trust. I'm sure not going to trust a turtle. Okay? This is just an animal. And you know what? Some animals are antisocial. You know what that means? They can't stand being around others. Things like dogs and cats are fairly social. Okay? And you know what? When you give an animal for a pet, he thinks you're the same thing he is. Your dog thinks you're an ugly dog. Don't look at dogs. Your cat thinks you're a weird-looking cat, but you can work a can opener and he thinks you're like a talented cat. You can do tricks. You can get food out of cans. He didn't know there was food in cans until he came along. If you have a turtle, he thinks you're a turtle, and turtles can't stand each other. A turtle date lasts anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and they get away from each other before they kill each other. Okay? That's the way they are. When you see a bunch of turtles sitting on a wall together getting some sun, they're not sitting together because they're friends. They're sitting together because that's the best place to get sun in the whole pond. And they can't stand each other. They're looking around at each other. Ooh, he's got leeches. Oh man, look at that guy's oh, he's on. Then they can't stand each other. And finally, when they can't take it anymore, one will slide off in the water and go, ooh, I can't stand these guys. And another one climbs up and takes their place. But when you get an animal for a pet, you might want to find out if it's a social animal, if you want to have contact with it. And if it's not a social animal, don't be disappointed if 50 years later it's still trying to bite you. As long as he tries to bite me, I know he's healthy. The day he acts like a pet turtle is the day I know there's something wrong with him and needs to go to the vet. Alright, some animals are just like that. So nature kept playing with turtles, and she made the fatal mistake. Nature put turtles up on land. Now, turtles were the first animals that could walk 100 miles in water, and they could care less. The problem was, what's to eat? Well, back then, a long time ago, the only things that were living away from water were plants and bugs. Now, guess what? The first land turtles, the first tortoises, were as big as a rhinoceros. You think they were eating bugs? Now, there were some big bugs back then, but they didn't have to eat a world full of bugs a day to stay alive. So they ate plants. And they ate tons of plants a day. They actually changed the way the earth looked, once tortoises got going. So they weren't the best animals nature ever had. The way you tell a land turtle, this is a box turtle. They have an army helmet-shaped shell. That makes them crush-proof, like a Volkswagen Beetle. Okay? Land turtles have very thin shells. That makes it easier for them to walk over land. A lot of people think those big tortoises in zoos that weigh 400 pounds, the reason they weigh so much is because of the big heavy shell. Those big tortoises have a thinner shell than the alligator snapping turtle I showed you. The reason the turtle weighs 400 pounds is because the big fat turtle inside the shell, not because of the shell itself. Now, they call box turtles because they have a hinge in their bottom shell like a hinge in the door. So when they get scared, they can whip inside, exhale, get in there, and slam the door shut. There we go. Now, normally he'd be able to close both ends equally well, but guess what? He's a little overweight. He only woke up a month ago. This is a southern box turtle. They hibernate late. When he pulls in his front end, his back end hangs out. I'll go poke in the back end, and the front end pops open. He won't be ready for bikini weather until about the end of August. But normally he'd be able to close both ends equally well to protect him from danger. Most turtles can't do that. Now this box turtle lives in an area the size of a football field for his entire life. He lives 150 years. And his two favorite foods, he eats all kinds of bugs and worms and stuff, but his two favorite foods are berries and grasshoppers. Remember I said grasshoppers eat 16 times their weight in plants a day? He's the best friend of plants on this property. But it's funny thinking about a turtle catching grasshoppers, right? Because even though, when they get warmed up, they're faster, they're still pretty slow. Well, what he does, as soon as the sun comes up in the morning, he wakes up and he sits in the sun. In 10-15 minutes, he's warmed up, he's ready to rock and roll. Grasshoppers wait till the sun's higher in the sky and warm. And then they climb up on grass stems, warm up in the sun for a few minutes, then they can hop and fly and get away. He just goes out in the morning nice and early before the grasshoppers can get away from him. But he can still eat 20-25 grasshoppers a day and protect a lot of plants on his property that way. And he also eats berries. That's an important job. And we're going to find out with one of the next animals I'm going to show you what that job is. But he lives 150 years. Now, beg pardon? That one is also one I raised from the baby. I had him since he was the size of a kidney bean. And he's stunted. He's half the size he should be. But he's still my main stud now. Okay? He used to have 25 girlfriends, man. All he do is hang around the food dish all day. Okay? Hey, how you doing? Because girls have to come every day to get food, man. And he just hang there all day going, hey, how you doing? Wait for him to come by. He had more dates than anybody I've ever seen. Anyway. Didn't close him to friend. So, nature kept working, with crocodiles. Well, she was playing with turtles. She said, you know what we can do? We can take some of these crocodile-like animals and give them better bones. We'll give them stronger bones with more calcium in them, but thinner, lighter bones so that they can get up and walk around. And that's how we got the perfect land animal. You can't get better than this in the reptiles. This is a human and only collision. Nature made 5 600 kinds of dinosaurs, 350 kinds of turtles, 23 kinds of crocodiles, 5,000 kinds of lizards. Now, there's another, these are relatively little green and brown lizards they sell in pet shops the same color. In pet shops, they used to call them chameleons. Now everybody calls them geckos because everything green is a gecko because they bought so stupid geckos. But no matter what you want to make up to call him, he's still going to know it. That's all he's ever going to be. No matter what else you call him, that's what he is. Since I pulled him out of the box, he got a little lighter in color. Lizards, many of them can change color. But there is no lizard that can change color to match its background. That's a TV myth. They always say lizards change color to match their background. If he changed color to match his background, what color would he be right now? Flesh tone. Okay? You know, he'd be the color of my hand. There's no lizard that can match his background. It just so happens that most of the colors that lizards change happen to be camouflage colors in their habitat, so it just works out. Lizards change color because of light. He was in a dark box, he's out in light now. Lizards change color because of heat. My hand is 98 degrees, a lot warmer than this room. And he's soaking up heat from my hand, and that's making little yellow spots up on his skin, the heat from my hand. Lizards change color because of their emotions, whether they're scared or excited. He happens to be both right now. Okay? But the one thing lizards can do is change color to match anything. Also on TV, they will say that lizards change color to match their background. That's what camouflage is. That's wrong too. Camouflage is when you're colored so you blend in with your background. One of the things you can do to be camouflage is change color, but lizards can't do that. So that doesn't work out. Okay, now anyway, this guy has some hidden color. Let's see if I can get him to show it. Come on, buddy. Let's do it. Show him. Show him. We'll have to do this manually. There we go. Pink. Okay. That little flag on his throat is called a dewlap. A lot of boy lizards have a dewlap, the girls usually don't. If the girls have one that's smaller and not as bright colored as in the boys. And that's a little signal flag. Boy lizards are brighter colored and fancier than girls. They have spikes and folds and flags and flaps and doodads hanging off them that the girls don't have. That's because boy lizards own property, girl lizards don't. Now before the girls get upset, let me tell you how this works. When animals own property, they can't leave it. It's like they're locked in cages and zoo. If there's a forest fire, animals run away from the fire. When they reach the edge of their property, if they can't find a place to hide, they'll turn around and run right back into the fire and die. There's no freedom in nature. That's all feeding make-believe. Most animals own property. Most animals will die in a forest fire if they can't find a place to hide on their property. But girl lizards don't own property, so where can girl lizards go? Anywhere they want. Girls wander all over the place. So he sits on his property. You know what his worst nightmare is? Some teenage boy in oldies going to get kicked out of his dance, come wandering along, and eat up all his food or steal one of his girlfriends. So he sits on a branch or log in the middle of his property all day long, looking, turns his head from side to side, watching. If he sees another boy coming, he stands up tall, opens his mouth. Come on, buddy. Puffs out his throat. You gonna do it? Come out your throat. Let's do it. Come on, let it go. Bring that big pink flag up. Nah, he's not gonna do it. He puffs out his throat. He does push-ups real fast like that. And you know what that is? Lizard sign language for, hey, bub, this is my property. Get out of here. I'm gonna beat the living daylights out of you. And the boy sees that, he turns and runs away. Now let's say he sees a girl lizard coming. If he sees a girl lizard coming, he stands up, opens his mouth, and bobs up and down. He scared that poor thing and do that, and some guy laughing at him because he looks pretty silly when he does it. So what he does is he shuts his mouth like most men should. He folds his throat up about halfway. He does a little sideways nod like this. And that's a little signal that says, hey, baby, what's happening? And that's how he gets things. If she likes him, she can enter his property and stay as long as she wants. And if he turns out to be a jerk, an hour later, a week later, a month later, she can turn and walk away and he can't follow. Or let's say she moves onto his property, and in a week she finds out he's got nothing but nasty tasting bugs and old rotten trees there. She can move to another guy that's on better property for raising kids. There's always the girls who get to pick the boys up. He lives about 18, 20 years. Oh, we know he's a good guy. Well, that's the thing about lizards. Lizards are a little disappointing because they tend to be small. Out of 5,000 kinds of lizards, 4,700 of them, if you put in, are less than a foot long. Less than a foot. And the lizards out there are less than 6 inches long. So most lizards are little guys that eat a lot of bugs, do a lot of good. They'll live 7 to 50 years. But I have a lizard here that's going to live 35 years. They'll get 7 feet long. And guess what? He eats plants. Remember, no, that's why I said lizard. If it was snake, I would have said snake. I'm funny that way. The reason I said lizard is the next thing I said lizard. Yes. Yeah. They'll eat dead skin. Yeah, you might have little bugs crawling on you. Too small for you to see, but they can. Right now on your body is 7 kinds of mites breathing around in your dead skin. Some of them eat each other. There's one kind of mite lives in your eyebrows and eyelashes. Looks like a bust with a little spider sticking out the end of it. Okay. There's one mite that lives only in your left armpit. Your left armpit is a hand degree warmer than your right armpit. This guy likes it more tropical. Okay. And little bugs like that get picked off your skin by those little bits and stuff. You know. Okay. Anyway.
No wonder they were eating off my feet.
What's the job of what does? The Anole? The Anole that I just showed you? Oh, he's a bug eater. Eats his weight in bugs every day to protect his property. He owns about 2.5 acres. That's his property, and he eats every bug he can find. But here we go. A green iguana. Now, a lot of people used to get iguanas for pets. And people tell me all the time, they have a friend that's got a tame iguana. There is no such thing as a tame, healthy iguana. There's cold iguanas. This guy's cold right now. He likes to be 103 degrees. And this room is like 35 degrees too cold. Okay? Once he warms up to 103, he would bite me, scratch me, whack me with his tail, and go to the bathroom all over me, all at the same time. Every time you pick up your iguana, if he's healthy, should be the last time you want him. And they can be quite dangerous, too. We have 5 kids in the Albany area that are missing fingers like mine from their pet iguana. Because one day their tame pet iguana gets put on the windowsill around the sun porch, and it's 95 degrees. And he sits in that sun and warms up, and next time they go to pet him, he bites their finger off. And iguanas can be dangerous to kids. Now this guy eats plants and he lives 35 years. You remember I said nature gives short lives to animals who eat plants? If he lives a long time and eats plants, he's got to be doing something special. And that's because he eats the only part of plants that nature wants him to eat. You know what that is? What? Fruit. Exactly. Okay? If you open up a fruit, you find seeds inside. And when you feel fruit seeds, like apple seeds and orange seeds, they're usually slippery because they have wax on them like the nature covers fruit seeds with wax because the juice in the fruit would kill their own seeds. Juices in apples and pears to make the seed grow inside the fruit, that wouldn't work too cool either. So nature covers the seed with wax. The seeds can't grow till the wax comes off. And it comes off in the bellies of animals that eat fruit. This guy at 103 degrees, 12 hours a day, at his favorite temperature, 12 hours a day. And he'll position himself in the sun or in a hot rock just to get that temperature. He'll eat up to 4 times his weight in food a day, swallowing seeds and all. Now, you know why he's got to eat so much? You ever eat a lot of fruit? Where'd you spend a lot of time? In the bathroom. Yep. Fruit goes through intestines quicker than Japanese poultry. Is he a constant supply of food to stay alive? The juices in his belly peel the wax off the seed without hurting him. If he eats here today, and tomorrow he's walking down the road and goes to the bathroom, which I'll tell you, he does that about every 10 steps or an hour and a half when he gets up in the morning. Every time he goes to the bathroom, out comes a pile of seeds. The seeds are in a brand new place where maybe they never grew before. They're scrubbed to wax, ready to grow, and each little seed is lovingly wrapped in a little bowl of manure. It's given to the baby plant to help it grow. So whenever you see fruit eaters, think of Johnny Appleseed or a farmer. That's the job they do. Okay. Now you might notice the end of his tail looks a little different from the rest. It's kind of blunt. Oops. Relax, buddy. He's starting to warm up again. Okay, there we go. And we'll pin his hind legs. Now, the end of his tail is kind of blunt. It's got a little bowl on the tip. Because a couple of weeks ago, during that hot weather, he whacked me in the face so many times with the scale he broke me up right away. Many lizards have breakable tails. And each bone in a lizard's tail, there's a weak spot. Kind of like where you tear along the dotted line on a roll of paper towels. So if an animal's chasing the lizard and grabs his tail, he has a little twist of the tail pops right off. As soon as it breaks, it flops around like a fish out of water. And while Jimmy watches the tail flops around, he gets away, and in about 4 months, he grows a brand new tail. It takes him 4 months, it doesn't get as big, but at least he's able to grow it back. Yes, sir.
Yeah, like a snake comes down.
Yep. It broke right off, right? It is gross and creepy the way it flips around all over afterwards. And it does it for hours. You go back 2 hours later and poke it, it'll still be flipping around. It's kind of cool. Scientists like to study animals to grow back parts of their body. Because once you turn 20, you know what you can grow? At 20 years old, you can grow hair, skin, nails, and mold. That's it. And here's no guarantee. But maybe someday we're going to be able to grow parts. And we're actually already growing parts for people from studying animals like this that can grow back parts for body. Yes, sir. Do we got awesome cat lizards? Really nice animals. They live a long time. They're very mellow. They're like a lap lizard. They love to lay on you. They love to be petted. Huh? There we go. Alright. Yeah. The biggest lizards in the world today are called monitor lizards. Komodo dragon is a monitor lizard. I have here a baby 1-year-old from South Africa. This lizard is called a white-throat monitor. Second largest lizard in Africa, 8th largest lizard in the world. And he went to the bathroom. Yay! There we go. Okay, buddy. Nice. It's close to white when you're finished. There we go. Okay. This is a baby white throat monitor. He's already shown you his most important tool is the tongue. Lizards and snakes know with their tongues. And that tongue can't hurt you. It's as white as a feather and dry as a bone. If a dog did that to me, I'd be all grossed out. They get a big old wet floppy slimy tongue full of dirt. Here's a nice dry harmless tongue. The 2 points on his tongue are directions. They're spread out to tell him which direction the odors are coming from. So he can follow animal trails. He's rodents. Rats and mice don't see the good, so rodents have smelly feet. And everywhere the rodents go, they leave sneaking little footprints all over the ground. So if they get lost, they can turn around and follow the smelly feet all the way back home. He can walk along that trail, sticking out his tongue, and track them right to their homes. He can dig them up with his powerful front legs and long claws. He can just lay there and ambush them like he's back down. He also has the same eyes as you and me. Lizards see colors, they see shapes, and their eyes are focused all the time, just like ours. Very, very rare in the animal kingdom. There we go. What are we doing next? Okay. There you go. He has speed. Right now he's not moving quickly because he's cold. And right now he looks like a pet. You know, he's hugging my body. Actually, when he warms up, he can bite a big raw thing like he's got bacon with scissors. He likes to be 105 degrees. If we put him out in the sun on a nice warm day, he'd warm up to 105 in a few minutes. Once he's warmed up, he can run 35 miles an hour at a quick spurt. He can run 20 miles an hour all day long. Now, does he look like an aerobics instructor? No way. Kind of tubby, right? But you know what? That's mostly air. When he's scared, he blows up with air so he looks bigger. He lets that air out and he's nice and sweet. And he takes off like he was shot out of a cannon. He's a very, very fast animal. He also has a cool tail. His tail is a perfect tail. It won't break off. It's a wraparound tail for the climber. He runs out of rice twice on the ground. He'll run up the tree so he hurls squirrels across the tree. His tail's flat on the side for swimming. So if he runs out of food in the trees, he can dive in the river and catch fishes, frogs, and baby turtles and baby crocodiles. So wherever this guy lives, he's got food. Mostly he eats rodents, but he balances other animal populations as well. He lives about 55 years. Now lizards were the best land animals that nature made. But there was still some changes in the thing. At one point in the Earth's history, it got really hot around the globe. It got so hot that the lizards that lived there had to
It's a snake. It's a venomous snake.
You guys ever hear of geckos? Okay, geckos come out at night, except for the green one on the Geico commercial out of Madagascar. But most geckos come out at night. They come from that period of time where it got so hot the lizards had to change. Some lizards move north and south to get away from it, and some of them start going underground. But they go with their noses, not with their mouths. They dive into the sand, hold up their legs, lift their bodies, and swim through the sand like a fish swims through water. Because they weren't using their legs, their legs are smaller and smaller until their legs disappear. Nature took away their ears. There was nothing to hear on the ground without hands. You can't do this, you can see the ears. So nature calls them up and threw them away. And eventually these animals came back above ground and the earth blew off. And we have the best predators on earth.
Oh my God.
This is a baby boa constrictor about a year old. A year ago, she was about 10 inches long, as fat as my thumb in the middle. And she grew this big in a year by killing and eating several hundred rodents. Now that sounds funny because on TV, they always say snakes eat a big meal and lay around for a month. In real life, there is no snake that eats once a month like they say on TV. And that's the problem. Because, you know, the people in the pet shops, they don't know anything about the animals. They don't even read the pet shop books. What they do is they sit home watching the Discovery Channel and Animal Planet, listening to people say snakes eat once a month to digest their food. No snake does that. If snakes live in nature, they can lay in the sun, or if they're in captivity and properly cared for. Now, by properly cared for, I mean the right kind of light, the right number of hours a day, the exact right temperature. Snakes digest their food as quick as you and I do. Most snakes eat every day or every other day, like any other animal. Did you ever hear on the news where people get attacked by their pet python? Well, pythons don't attack people because they're dangerous or because they kill. The reason they attack people is because after a year and a half or 2 years of starving them, eventually they'll bite anything that moves, praying that it's food. If you kept a lion in your house and fed him once a month, what would he do? He would kill you and eat you. And nobody's going to say, oh, lions are horrible, lions are mean. There are going to be people lining up to high-five a lion saying, thank you for doing the dumbest human being on earth, feed the lion once a month. Here's a little tip from your own meat. If you're going to keep big meaty animals in your home, keep their bellies full. Okay? And to do that, you might need to read a book so you can find out how to take care of it. Don't ask the guy in the pet store. Don't try to learn it from TV. Now, snakes. Today, snakes are the best hunters on earth. A cat will catch 2 mice out of every 20. He'll catch 18 rats out of every 20 he goes after. He's as good a hunter as 9 house cats put together. So these big snakes are good hunters if they're fast.
No, that's a python.
Top speed on a python, boa, or anaconda is only 2 to 2.5 miles an hour. You can walk faster than an anaconda can run with his tail out of the parking lot in the middle of summer. Snakes are quick. Fastest snake in New York State goes about as fast as little highway up here. Okay. The fastest snake in New York State goes about as fast as jogging, 3.5 miles an hour. And the fastest snake on earth, the blackthorne, the tree cobra, on TV they say they go over 20 miles an hour. In real life, blackthorns go about 5-6 miles an hour. Snakes aren't quick. Think snakes have good eyesight? Snakes see movement, not shapes. I'll tell you secrets, they're not going to move it either. You hardly ever see snakes on windy days, waving around. They can't tell what's going on. It scares the daylights out of them. You think he listens to rats and mice? No ears. Snakes can't hear a thing. That's why I don't take my snakes home all day. They never come anyway. Every year people give me lots and lots of snakes. They find out they're too expensive to keep, or there's food laws so they can't keep certain snakes. They wind up giving them to me. Every snake they give me has a name, and then they can write down the snake name. Like I'm going to spend the rest of the snake's life talking, talking to the dead snake. Half the snakes that people give me, the people swear the snake knows his name. And when they walk over the cage and talk to the snake, he comes right up to the top of the cage to greet them. You know why the snake ain't coming to the top of the cage when they walk over and talk to him? Because he's going, feed me. It's been 3 weeks since I've had a meal. For crying out loud, give me a rat. But there's a world full of people who are so deranged that they actually think they have some psychic connection with their deaf snake that knows a snake. If you buy a book or read a book on a snake, one of the first things you find out is they can't hear. Spend more time reading about your pets instead of talking. That might help them a bit. Now, his tongue works good, right? He's got a great sense of smell. But the biggest reason why snakes are the best hunters on earth? They're the world's biggest shit. I'm 5'10", he's 5'4". The bones in my head are as thick as a magazine. The bones in his head are as thin as a paper. If a mouse attacked him, he's too big to eat a mouse. He would know what to do with a mouse. But if we had a crazy mouse or a mouse in rabies and went after him, a mouse could kill him with one bite per day. So snakes are afraid of their own. You know when most snakes hunt? Is during the daytime. And where rats and mice during the daytime? Sleeping at home. So you can follow them for a time out again, sleep and walk right through it. Snakes hunt during the daytime when they're going to sleep. That way they can catch it without the animal hurting them or without the animal getting away from them. You don't have to be fast or smart to be a predator. Nature gives the animals the tools and the timing to do the job. He lives about 45 years. Even a garter snake in your backyard will live about 20 years.
If I was a snake, I would get the baby.
There we go. Now once again, to show you the way TV is. I have here on TV, this would be the biggest snake in the world. So it would be
Green anaconda?
Anaconda, yeah. Okay, so here we go. Let's see if that's true. Now, I brought the snake stick not because he's poisonous, but because anacondas live in warm, stagnant water. You know what grows in warm, stagnant water? The same germs that made me lose my finger from an animal bite. I don't like to be bitten by crocodiles, turtles, or anacondas because they have these bacteria in their mouth from the water they live in. So we pick them up on the stick, and if we're lucky, it's not good to pick up snakes by the neck. I know everybody on TV grabs snakes by the neck and tells you that's the way it's supposed to be. Oh, look, he just bit himself. They're one of the bravest snakes. So picking up snakes by the neck, it's not a good thing to do. There we go. But I'll do it gently, just to avoid being bitten. Oh, there he is wrapping around me. You think he's wrapping around me eating for lunch? No, he doesn't have arms and legs. It's the only way he's got to hang on. Snakes have tiny bones he doesn't want to pull. And right now, you know what he's doing? He's trying to get leverage to pull his head out of my hand. Okay, that's all. If I let go of his head, he would loosen up and throw off after biting me 5 or 6 times in the face because I grabbed him by the neck. But otherwise, he's not interested in harming humans. Anacondas do not kill people, eat people, except for really stupid people. They have big ones for pets that they starve to death in their homes. Okay? On TV, Discovery Channel and Animal Planet, they will tell you that anacondas get 40 to 100 feet long. Alright, guess what? The biggest anaconda ever measured in history was only 23 feet 4 inches long. That's the biggest one they've ever measured. So why would they tell you 40 to 100 feet? You know what the biggest snake in the world was? A reticulated python from the Philippines. It was built after World War II in the Philippines. It was 36 feet long. biggest anaconda ever measured. So why would they say this on Discovery Channel or Animal Planet? Well, very simple. You ever see the anaconda movies? You know who made those? Time Warner Films. Guess who used to own Discovery Channel and Animal Planet? Time Warner Corporation. If they get you all hopped up and excited over anacondas on their stupid TV shows, you are more likely to spend money to see the stupid movies and buy the DVDs after they come out of the store. TV is not there to make you smarter. TV is not there to protect you. TV is there to make money. And if they make money by scaring you and making you believe stupid things, so much the better as far as they're concerned. For those of you who are afraid of snakes, because of TV, do you know how many people are killed by constricting snakes in the United States? 6 in the last 60 years. That's 1 every 10 years, folks. You know how many people got killed by horses last year? 250. 80 kids got killed playing softball, baseball, and football last year. 80 more people got killed playing ball. 32 kids got killed last year by dogs that live in their own homes. And about 100 people got killed by dogs all put together. Almost anything you do that you think is fun is 100 times more dangerous than any animal you're ever going to run into. Almost anything you do that's normal, walking up and down stairs, taking a bath, going for a swim, kills more people than any animal on the planet. So don't worry about snakes. Nobody's ever been acting killed by an anaconda except for one guy that had a really big one that he was starving to death in his home because he wanted a big snake he could impress his friends with. But he never read a book to learn how to take care of it. And he was so hungry that one day he grabbed his arm, wrapped around his neck, and the guy didn't know how to take the snake on, so he died. That's the way nature works. Okay, once in a while nature eliminates one of us too. If you do something really stupid, that's the way it goes. Hey, we did good, got through a lot of stuff. Any questions about what you saw? Well, I guess Peter's got something for you guys. Yes, sir. Nice and loud, because there's too much background noise. I can't even hear myself.
The day before the show.
Yep.
How do you prepare the animals?
Oh, I usually don't feed them for a day or two before the show, which doesn't make them very comfortable. But I turn off lights in the cage, so they're not all metabolized up and everything is burning up energy. Just once in a while in nature there's bad weather too. And they have to go a few days left. Yeah. Once they haven't got the ultraviolet lights, they pretty much sleep in the boxes. They don't move during the whole course of the day unless I pick them up and take them out. There we go. I will be right out of your way there, Peter.
Are we still staying here for that?